The next locator that we are going to look at is actually the CSS locator. This is really not recommended to use because this is actually working on the class name of a particular web element, that is like basing on how it looks like, how it is styled, or its way of positioning inside actually the web elements. So this could quite often change, and it is really not actually a recommended approach. But if there is no other locators that you could use with all the options that's available, then yeah, if you don't have choice, then maybe you can actually use the CSS locator. So now, in order to locate an element by CSS, you go over here and actually select the CSS locator in the identify by, and you have to provide actually the selector over here. Here again, you can use actually the Google Chrome's inspect option. And if let's say that I have to actually interact with this hyperlink, which is the tacl.io's logo, and if you right click this, you have an option to copy the selector basically. So now if you copy this selector, and this is basically the CSS selector of the element, and if you can just come here and then paste it. So this actually represents from the body tag, which element you're trying to locate by using the classes that is also, specific to that particular web element. So as I said, if I actually wrap this particular uh, logo inside another div, then ideally this path is basically going to change. So, or if I change the CSS or the look and feel of this tackle.io's logo, then also your locator or this selector is basically going to change and it's going to fail. So this is not basically an ideal option. There's one more thing I wanted to talk or tell you about this. So, for example, in this case, to identify this text area or this text box, if I go here and then select actually the selector of this text box, you would be able to see it actually says hash some some text. Now what does actually this hash means is, here the selector is selected to identify this by actually ID. So as I said, in the locator, if you are using Playwright and then directly using the locator, you definitely can use the CSS selector option and give hash the ID name in order to locate the element. So if you're going over here, this should definitely have that string over here. So if you see here, ID is equal to, you have that string, and this is what is actually copied when I'm saying copy the CSS selector, but it adds this hash in the front because this is basically an ID. So if you have to locate some elements because you don't have any other choice by CSS locator, yeah, simply open the inspect and then just copy actually the CSS selector, and then you can use it. But please use this with caution.